Good evening. Thank you for agreeing to meet and talk with me about the topics of lifespan development and where you are in your life. First off, I have to go over our release consent form. So I'm just going to read over it and then show it to the camera. That way the class knows that you signed a release form. This form is giving consent for me to release a recorded audio and video recording to my class and professor of around 10 students for the master's program for mental clinical health counseling. This recording is being used for the sole purpose of education. As well, by printing and signing below, you're authorizing the release of this recording to my class for educational purposes only. Okay. So starting off, I just would like you to, kind of describe your upbringing, your family demographics, things like came from a single family home, how many kids, parents stayed together, got divorced, things like that.
I was the youngest of 5 children. My brother and sister are living. Two of my brothers passed away, and that was prior to me being born. My parents were married for 60 years, and my father was an iron worker. My mother did not work a lot. I do remember she worked in a sewing factory for maybe 5 to 7 years when I was in school. She actually worked to pay for my brother to be able to go to college, to pay his room and board. So she went to work for that. My father passed away recently, and so my mother is, by herself, and I'm taking care of her. Basically, demographics of my family. My father was from a family. His parents actually came over from Italy, so they were first generation. So my father was actually a second generation American. So, and my mom, her parents came over. I mean, her grandparents came over from Europe also. So I would say she was probably second generation too.
Yeah, and then so you today, married, children, grandchildren?
Yes, I have been married for, goodness, now you're going to make me think, 30 years. 30, that's where we at, 32. So,
Somewhere in there.
Yeah. So, and I have a daughter who is 29 and a son who is 23. We were married for 3 years when we had our daughter, and yeah, it changed things. It made things always a little more hectic. Our son came 5 years later, so at that point our daughter was in school and getting involved in all kinds of activities. So it just made life a little bit hectic going here and there and everywhere. But they played all kinds of sports and different things, and that's what we did was just run around and take our kids to wherever they needed to go.
Yeah. Do you think coming from a multi-children family kind of helped you already understand the demographics, not necessarily as a parent yourself beginning, but just being with a brother and a sister as well? Did that prepare you for having kids and having multiple kids, or do you think it was still, like most people would say, a learning experience with every kid?
Yeah, definitely a learning experience. I guess my family, not really, because I was so much younger than my brother and sister. My brother's 10 years older than I am. My sister is 7 years older than I am. So my brother went to college when I was in first grade. So I don't remember him very well. And my sister got married when I was in sixth grade. So she moved out. So I was by myself for a lot of years.
Okay. Yeah.
With my parents. So it was just the three of us, which my sister always said I was spoiled, but it was because I was the only one left.
Yeah.
I was like an only child for a number of years. So
understand that. So yeah, I mean, with that now, your kids have moved out, correct? One's in college, one
One
is
is
married, moved
married.
away.
Yes,
Well,
she
ish.
yeah, she has her own house now. Yes, she lives not in our residence any longer. Um, it's been nice to have some free time, but I don't feel like we have a lot of free time because we're still involved, still doing things, going places,
Yeah.
taking care of, still trying to get our son through college and you know visiting him and making sure that bills are paid for him and you know he has everything that he needs. So
Okay.
we're always busy.
Yeah, and then with your daughter, two grandkids, is that correct?
Yes, she has two grandchildren. Two grandchildren. I have two grandchildren. She has two children, and they are 5 and 6 months old. And they are, yeah, they're really fun. I really enjoy spending time with them and doing things with as a family. We all go places together, and I really enjoy that.
Yeah. And then, like I said, I know you're still helping your son with college and stuff like that. But does it feel like to you? Because a lot of married people, when their kids move away, or at least go to college, not necessarily move away, because your son will probably come back until
Mm-hmm.
he finds his place in the world. Do you feel like you and your husband are kind of rediscovering, not necessarily each other, but just like little ins and outs that like, oh yeah, I remember, this is kind of how it used to be before the kids and stuff like that. Or is it something you just kind of rolled right back into and it's like, yep, I know you, you know me.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really think anything has really changed. I mean, we've always done things together and spent time together. We've, you know, bought bikes to go bicycling together and, hiking together. And we just started doing things like that and making plans to go do, things together. And which is what we did, prior to having children. So it's kind of just picked up where, we
Or
left
left off.
off. Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's good. Definitely, like I said, I know in this class, one of the big things is um, especially having that age discrepancy with the kids. I know one parent probably took care of one kid, one it was like, hey, this is this schedule, this is that schedule.
Mm-hmm.
I got this one, you got that one, with a little bit of change off. So that's one of the things that, luckily for you, you're not rediscovering your spouse and stuff like that. But yeah, let's see. I believe that would be everything. Is there anything else you would want to talk about? Any challenges that, you know, um, you faced over those experiences and stages of your life?
Um, Not that I can think of. I mean, the only major changes that we've seen in the past few years are the passing of our parents. Which has changed the dynamics of our family because the holidays have changed and you know the birthdays have changed. Less people to have
Have it
over.
around? Yeah.
Yeah, so that's different. That's really been very noticeable. Over the years as we lose loved ones that things are a lot different and have to navigate that.
Yeah. Um, so with that being said, is that something that you talk about with your, not necessarily your children, but just like your spouse and stuff like that? Do you guys discuss that and talk about it, or is it something that you've specifically just been thinking about, or?
No, we have that conversation a lot. As Thanksgiving was coming up this year, we had the conversation about how going to be so much different because we were missing so many different people. And it just was smaller and just a little more intimate, but kind of sad, bittersweet that
Yeah.
you know
Well,
that
yeah,
the
that's
family wasn't there. Christmas also.
mm, yeah, that's definitely one of the things that we're learning about as well. As we age, we become the ones that the family kind of centers around. So we feel like we feel that everything's getting smaller, but the generations below us are like, oh, grandma's the one that brings us all together, the way that your mom did, and your grandmother, and stuff like that. So yeah, that's definitely something hard, but good thing for you. It sounds like you and your spouse talk about it, so that's kind of like you guys can bounce it back and forth off of each other instead of just keeping it in, because that's when people have issues and stuff like that, or it makes it a little bit more sad if you feel you can't talk with someone about it besides like a therapist or whatever. And it's good to see that when you talk with family members about things like that, that they have the same shared feelings that you have, um, not just about your mom or their mom, stuff like that, but about each other's family and everything.
I agree.
But yeah, anything else you would like to discuss?
I think I'm good.
Okay. Well, thank you once again. I appreciate you doing this for my class.
You're welcome.